Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. And here you have it. This is the speed test that was sent to me out of Arlington, Texas, in the Dallas area to be exact. 100 megahertz is now officially live in the Dallas market. And as you can see, it's plenty fast, close to the tower, 1.3 gigs and 128 on the uplink. Now, one thing I want to disclose early on in the video, Dallas, Texas is the only market in the entire country that AT&T has 100 megahertz contiguous C-band. The rest of the country, it's 80 megahertz only. It's contiguous. There's no fragmentation issue. But Dallas is the only one that they have 100 contiguous. Also, in Dallas, AT&T is the ILEC. So all of their macro sites are fiber fed with their own fiber. So keep that in mind. A lot of this is going to be on 10 gig backhaul, if not all of it. So those are the two disclaimers I wanted to make. So AT&T is going to be very fast in Dallas, where they have high mobile market share. Oklahoma City, I'm expecting the same. Philadelphia, Chicago, the bigger markets where they compete very well, they have solid share. I fully expect them to be fast like this because, one, they upgraded the existing grid. And two, they have a decent amount of spectrum. They're not doing fixed wireless access. I mean, they don't have the same amount as Verizon or T-Mobile, but, you know, they still have a competitive amount, in my opinion, and they can also tap into unlicensed CBRS as well. So that's an option for them too. And then AT&T is in a unique position where they can still densify extensively. Right, Verizon is like, yeah, they can still densify, but they've already densified a lot. Same with T-Mobile, to gain speed, to get faster. These guys have fairly dense grids already. AT&T, they can still densify even more to catch up to the density of the competition, and that should increase their speeds even further. Now, one thing that's confusing about this is people are saying, well, AT&T is not spending anymore on wireless. It's all going to fiber. Yes, but we knew that AT&T was going to perform like this because they put new spectrum on air. And in a large part of the country, they have the ILEC. They are their own fiber provider. So that you put those two things together, even with the lack of density, they're still going to perform great. And in places like El Paso, for an example, they have 13% market share on mobile, which is very low. So they're going to rip. These sites are going to rip. They're going to do close to 2 gigs on some of these sites in El Paso, Texas. I guarantee it. Now, further away from the site, 1 mile, a mile and a half, 2 miles, that's when it's going to get tricky because of the lack of densification. So indoors, you're probably going to drop off of C-band very quickly and get back to the sub 2 gigahertz spectrum, which is going to drop your performance significantly. You're not going to pull those same speeds indoors unless you're very close to a site. But most of the times when there's a lack of densification, especially here, the site spacing is spread out. So you're going to run into some issues. But, it's good to see. They're bringing more spectrum on air. More sites are getting upgraded. And, AT&T is just simply competing. They've already acknowledged they're not going to go on a crazy investment outside of the 200 million pops like Verizon and T-Mobile. They're going to take their time. They're going to be very strategic. They just embarked on a large upgrade program on these sites with FirstNet. So a good amount of those sites are already doing 200 plus megabits a second. So why the rush, the need to really push C-band onto those sites, especially when they're not doing fixed wireless access? Now, there are going to be some sites out there that are a lot slower. Some of those are already in the 30s, 40s, 50s, but still, there's not a huge priority because there's nobody going to benefit from 500, 600, 700 megabit a second speeds, when they're not doing fixed wireless access at a massive scale. Now, some of those areas are going to get that internet air, as we talked about in the previous video. There's going to be some areas that are not scheduled for fiber for a few years, or, they're not going to get anything at all. So AT&T is going to attack those areas with home internet air. And that's smart. But I think if you're seeing speeds like this, 1.3 gigs, I mean, AT&T has to monetize that somehow. So I think some of these areas, they need to reconsider the fixed wireless access. And if they don't have fiber at that specific location or whatever, or they're not going to get to doing it, they need to do the fixed wireless access. Maybe they don't open it up to as many people as, say, T-Mobile and Verizon, but they can be very strategic and pick a few people here and there to make some money off of the capacity. So just wanted to share that with you guys. 100 megahertz now active in Dallas. Should probably spread throughout the entire area over the coming days. I hear in some areas it's 100, and other areas it's still not. So still got some work to do, provision and turn on some of these sites, but it should happen fairly quickly. And AT&T's on the move, right? We never said they were going to starve the network to where nothing moves anymore. There's still going to be moving pieces, but like going from 200 to 250 million pops with C-band, from 250 to 300 million. AT&T is not in the same rush to do that as the competition. And they're also not in the same rush to densify the network as the competition because they don't have the same type of usage on the network. So make sure you guys stay tuned for more. Like, share, subscribe, follow my social media outlets. This is Tyrone with Tech Life. See y'all in the next one. Peace.